Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk about making different types of graphs. We're going to start with a box plot. So this is just a review of kind of what a box plot looks like. So you've got your whiskers on the side that take you to your minimum and your maximum. Your lower quartile, your median, your upper quartile make up the box. And then you have a number line underneath it. So if I were to look at this box plot, if I wanted to identify the median, I would look at where that median falls on the number line. Okay? How to actually create one. We're going to put our numbers in order from least to greatest. All right, and that should look like this. There were 12 numbers, so go ahead and check yours against mine. Now we're going to identify the different parts. So our lower extreme, that's going to be our smallest number, which right here we can see is 4. Okay. Our upper extreme is going to be our biggest number, which here is 16. Then our median. So remember, to find our median, we start from the outside and work our way in. Okay, so that leaves me with these two in the middle. Now the reason that I don't cross them out is because I want to still see my numbers, because I still have to use them in just a moment. So when I work my way to the middle, my two middle numbers are 10 and 12. So what we need to do here is find the middle of those. So you can think about it, right? What's between 10 and 12? Well, that's 11. Or you can use the strategy of adding 10 and 12, which gives you 22. And then taking that sum and dividing by how many numbers we just added, which was 2. And that still gives you 11. So that's the other method that you could use when you have 2 in the middle. All right, lower quartile. So now that my median is really directly in between these two numbers, we've now split our data into two parts, a lower part and an upper part. So to find the lower quartile, you're going to, now I'm actually going to cross out my numbers because I don't need them after this. Start from the outside and work your way in of your lower numbers to find the middle. And that leaves us with these two in the middle. And for this, add them together, and 8 plus, if you don't know the middle of it, which is 17, and then 17 divided by 2 would give you 8.5, which is our lower quartile, or 8.5. And then our upper quartile here, let's go ahead and cross those out. Here we see it's going to be 14. So we don't have to do any math there. It's just going to be 14 for our upper quartile. All right, so I'm going to erase my work so that we can make our box plot. All right, for the number line of our box plot, we need to make it go from 4 to 14. So just do the best you can. You can count by 1s or 2s, but we do need the number line to go from 4 to 14. So go ahead and do that. All right, so actually I made mine go to 15, but now we're going to plot everything. So we need a dot at every important number that we just figured out. So our lower extreme is 4, so I'm going to put a dot. Our upper extreme, oh, we need to go to 16. My bad, I said 14 earlier, so one more, 16. My upper extreme is 16, so I need to make a dot up there. My median is 11. My lower quartile is 8.5, so in the middle of those two. And then my upper quartile is 14, so right here. All right, so remember, my median, lower quartile, and upper quartile are what make up my box. So I like to draw that first. My median was 11, that's the line in the middle. And then my lower quartile was 8.5. My upper quartile was 14. And then my whiskers will extend out to my maximum and my minimum. So there is your box plot. All right, now for a histogram, remember you're given a set of data. So here's our data. This represents the cappuccinos that were made per hour. You will have a frequency table that's given. The frequency table should have intervals, as you can see here. You have tallies, and then you have the frequency of those tallies in a frequency table. So if you can see how this connects is, if you're looking from 0 to 3, how many times did a number 0, 1, 2, or 3 occur? 1, 2 times. So there's 2 tallies and the frequency was 2. How many times did a number 4, 5, 6, 7 happen? Well, 1, 2, 3 times. So they did 3 tallies and the number 3. And then over here on their histogram, 0 to 3, they went up to 2 because the frequency was 2. 7 to 4, they went up to 3 because the frequency was 3. So all of these things are connected here. All right, first thing you need to do is go ahead and fill out the ranges that we're going to be looking at. Those are located right here in this column. So 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and 15 to 19. So what we're going to do is there's a few ways you can do this. You can order them in least to greatest and do it that way. That might be helpful. You could just kind of cross out as you go and tally as you go, move from left to right. It just depends on how you want to do it. I think what I'm going to do is cross out as I go. So 5, where would that fall? That's here. So I'm going to make a tally. Then a 15 would be in here. 1 is in here. 11 and so forth. So go ahead and do that. Pause the video and then check back when you're done. All right, so we should have gotten 4 in the 0 to 4, 7 in the 5 to 9, 2 in the 10 to 14, and just 1 in the 15 to 19. The next thing we need to do is make our graph. So to do that, we need to label our X and Y axis and give our graph a title. So let's start with the title, which is at the very top right here. We need to label what this is describing, and it's describing depths of recent earthquakes. So I'm just going to write depth of earthquakes. All right, so we got depth of earthquakes. Okay, so now we need to label our X and Y axis. So our X axis here is going to be all of our ranges. So that's going to be our depths, and then our y-axis is going to be our frequency. All right, so I went ahead and labeled those. So for our depths, what we're going to do here is we're going to make sections. For this first section, we should label it 0 to 4. Okay, and then for the next section, we're going to label that 5 to 9 and so forth. So I'm going to do that really quickly, neatly, and show you what it's going to look like. Okay, so I've labeled the ranges at the bottoms. Now the frequencies, that's going to be our totals. So the biggest number it went to here, you can see, is 7. So we just really need to go up to 7 on our frequency side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and label those. Okay, so it should look something like this. All right, so now all we're going to do is take our make our bars. So from 0 to 4, that went up to 4. So make a bar all the way up to 4. It should be touching the bar should be like touching the y-axis. Remember, all of these bars should be touching each other. 5 to 9, we'll go ahead and make that all the way up to 7. So up to 7. These do not have to be perfect by any stretch. 7. From 10 to 14, we need to go up to 2. So about here. Again, they do need to be touching. And then the last one, 15 to 19, that's going to be going just up to 1, which is like roughly here. And that's it. That's your histogram. All right, guys, so now we're going to talk about dot plots. Dot plots, remember, you've got a number line at the bottom here. This tells you the number of books students read this summer. So you can see when you're looking at 0, how many students read 0 books? 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. How many students read 1 book? How many students read 2 books? And so forth. Okay, so here we're looking at weights of baby llamas. We've got a bunch of numbers, and we have a blank number line here. So all we need to do is number our number line, and then go ahead and put our dots on it. So we got to look really carefully here and see what our smallest number is. Okay, so it looks like it's 20 is going to be our smallest number, and our biggest number doesn't even look like we get into the 30s, so I think our biggest number is 27. So our number line down here needs to go from 20 to 27. All right, so I went ahead and numbered it. Again, there's a bunch of ways you could do this. You could put it in order from least to greatest if you wanted to, or kind of cross out as you go like we did last time. So I think I'm going to do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at, so the first number here is 25, so we need to put a dot on 25, 27, 22, and just keep going until your dot plot's made. All right, so this is what it should end up looking like when you are done. So go ahead and practice the other graphs and check the key when you're finished.